The forest around him was already alien. Towering trees with leaves broad enough to serve as sails, vines as thick as his torso. He had been dropped here by a malfunctioning shuttle pod, separated from his crew, and with no working comms. Survival was already questionable. Then she appeared, a figure larger than any living thing he had ever witnessed. Easily 5 stories tall, humanoid but unmistakably alien. Her skin was pale with a faint shimmer, like moonlight trapped in flesh. Her hair tumbled in braids thicker than ship's ropes, black as obsidian. And her eyes, glowing amber, locked directly onto him. Corin froze. His instinct screamed. Carnivore. The mouth alone could have swallowed him whole. Sharp teeth glistened as she parted her lips, exhaling a warm gust that smelled faintly of crushed flowers. He stumbled backward, tripping over a root, certain he was about to be devoured. Small prey? Her voice rumbled, so deep it made his bones vibrate. Corin scrambled for the laser cutter on his belt, but his hands shook too badly to aim. His thoughts ran wild. Asterisk, this is it. I'm about to become a snack. Asterisk. But the giantess didn't lunge. She crouched instead, her enormous form lowering with surprising grace, and tilted her head. Her amber eyes studied him, not with hunger, but with curiosity. Fear not, she said slowly, the words clumsy, as if she had learned them only recently. Corin blinked. Why you speak common? She smiled, sharp teeth flashing. That didn't help his terror. Some. Then her stomach growled, a sound like distant thunder rolling through the valley. Corin's blood turned to ice. She was hungry. She had found him. And soon she would. The giantess's massive hand darted forward. Corin screamed, certain she would pluck him up and bite down. Instead, her fingers unfurled, palm open. On it lay a cluster of enormous fruits, each larger than his head, glistening with juice. Eat, she offered. Corin gaped. You're feeding me? The giantess frowned as if insulted. Not prey. Guess. His throat worked. The laser cutter slipped from his grip. He was alive. More than alive. He was being protected. Over the following days, Corin learned her name, Veyara. She had spotted the falling fireball of his escape pod and tracked it out of curiosity. At first, she had mistaken him for some kind of lost animal, but when he spoke, she had realized he was something far rarer, a thinking being small enough to fit in her palm. Corin struggled to keep up with her. Each of her steps spanned 20 of his. She slowed herself for his sake, crouching or kneeling when she wished to speak. They formed a halting language exchange, his broken attempts at her tongue, her slow practice of common. And yet, every time she smiled, his instincts jolted. Her carnivore's teeth gleamed, and the way she sometimes looked at him, amber eyes glimmering, lips parting, set his nerves aflame. One night, as they camped in a hollow sheltered by colossal roots, Corin couldn't hold his tongue anymore. Veyara, he said cautiously, you don't eat people my size, do you? She blinked, confused. Eat? You? He swallowed. Yes. I thought maybe you might because of your teeth. For a moment she was silent. Then, unexpectedly, she laughed, a sound like boulders tumbling in a river. Little one, no. Not food. His face flushed with relief. But before he could settle, she leaned closer until her vast shadow fell entirely over him. Her voice lowered, intimate. Not eat you like that. Corin's heart stopped. Her gaze lingered, not on his throat or limbs, but on him. Heat rushed to his face. For the first time since his crash, his fear was replaced by something else, something he dared not name. The nights grew stranger. She insisted he sleep near her, curled in the crook of her arm, or beside her colossal torso, where the warmth radiating from her body kept him alive against the forest chill. The rhythmic boom of her heartbeat beneath her skin lulled him to sleep. He told himself it was only survival, but when he awoke, he would find her watching him, lips curved in a faint smile, as if she had been studying every breath he took. One night, he stirred awake to find her hand gently cupping him. He lay across her palm, her thumb stroking his back like he was something delicate, precious. Why me? He whispered. Her eyes softened. A long time, she murmured. Then you fell from sky. Small, brave, heart loud. She tapped a finger against her chest. I like. Corin's breath caught. She could crush him without effort. She could swallow him whole if she wished. But she didn't. Instead, she treated him as if he were fragile glass, something protect, not consume. And yet, every time her gaze deepened, every time she said she liked him, he remembered her words. Not eat you like that. What did she mean? The answer came sooner than he expected. A storm broke over the forest, wind so fierce they uprooted trees and lashed the ground with sheets of rain. Corin's flimsy makeshift shelter collapsed instantly. Before he could even shout, Veyara's enormous hand scooped him up and pressed him against her chest for protection. Safe, she rumbled, curling around him. The storm lasted through the night. Rain hammered her back, but her body shielded him from every drop. He shivered against her warmth, every muscle tense with the awareness of how close he was pressed to her. Her heartbeat thundered under his cheek. Then her voice came, soft despite its depth. You still think I eat you? Corin hesitated. No, not anymore. Her lips brushed into a smile. Good, because I want you. Different way. He looked up, and for once, the gleam of her teeth didn't terrify him. It made his pulse race for an entirely different reason. From then on, everything between them changed. Veyara was no predator. She was a protector, a companion, and, though neither of them said it outright at first, something more. She carried him on her shoulder, let him ride the braids of her hair, whispered words in her tongue that he didn't yet understand but felt all the same. Corin had thought she would devour him. Instead, she consumed his loneliness, his fear, and replaced him with something deeper, stranger, and far more powerful. In her presence, he was not prey. He was chosen. And in the end, when rescue finally arrived weeks later, Corin faced a choice: return his crew, or remain with the Giantess who had shown him that hunger could mean something far different than teeth and flesh. He didn't even hesitate.